Some films just aim to scare you, others try to get under your skin. Bloodthirsty Ravens did both. It clawed its way into the horror landscape, it left scars. This wasn't just a movie, it was an experience. A raw, visceral journey into darkness. When it hit screens back in 2007, nobody was quite ready. The screams were real. The fear was palpable. It was designed to shake you, to make you look twice at every shadow, every bird. It succeeded. I remember getting the script. The title alone sent a shiver down my spine. Bloodthirsty Ravens. Simple, direct, brutal. I was to play Jake, a man running from his own demons. He found something far worse. Working on this film was intense. Every day on set felt heavy. We were crafting something dark, something that would linger. The director, Elias Thorne, had a singular vision. He wanted to create a modern horror classic. He wanted the terror to feel immediate, inescapable. We all felt that pressure, that drive. The premise was deceptively simple. An isolated town, Corvus Creek, a place forgotten by time, a place with a terrible secret, an ancient curse, and the Ravens. The story of Bloodthirsty Ravens begins like many unsettling tales, with outsiders. A small group arrives in Corvus Creek, each for their own reasons. A journalist chasing a local legend, a couple looking for a quiet getaway. My character Jake, seeking solace from a troubled past. None of them knew what awaited them. They saw a quaint, sleepy town. They didn't see the watchful eyes. They didn't hear the whispers on the wind. The town was a trap, beautifully disguised. Its welcome was a lie. At the heart of Corvus Creek lies an ancient legend, a story of betrayal, of a terrible injustice committed centuries ago. The townsfolk whisper it, fearfully. The legend speaks of a powerful curse, one that transformed ordinary ravens into monstrous guardians, protectors of a dark secret. They demand a blood price for the sins of the past. This curse is woven into the very fabric of the town, into its soil, into its soul. The ravens are its enforcers, its judges, its executioners. The initial signs are subtle, a missing pet, strange, unsettling bird calls, ravens gathering in unusual numbers, their eyes too intelligent, too focused. The atmosphere grows heavier, the sense of unease becomes a constant companion. Characters start to feel watched, followed. My character Jake Riley carried a lot of weight. He was a former Special Forces soldier, haunted by missions gone wrong, by faces he couldn't save. He came to Corvus Creek looking for peace, a quiet place to outrun his ghosts. Instead he found a new kind of war, a primal, terrifying conflict. His training kicks in. He becomes the reluctant protector, the fighter, but even his skills are tested to their limits. Against an enemy so unnatural, so relentless, he had to dig deep, deeper than ever before. Then there was Dr. Elias Thorne, not the director but a character in the film, the town's eccentric historian. He's the one who knows the legends, the dark history of Corvus Creek. He spent his life studying the ravens, their curse. He tries to warn the newcomers, but he's dismissed as a crazy old man. Is he a voice of reason, or has his obsession driven him to madness? He walks a fine line. His knowledge is crucial, but it comes at a terrible cost. He's seen too much. Sarah, played by the talented Maria Valmont, was the journalist. She arrived chasing a story about local folklore. She found something far more terrifying, and far more real. She's resourceful. Section 4. Moments of pure dread, key horrifying scenes. One scene that always gets people. The attic scene. Jake and Sarah trapped in a dusty, claustrophobic attic. The only light from a single, grimy window. Then the sounds begin. Scratching. Tapping. The rustle of wings. Suddenly ravens burst through the decaying roof. Through the boarded-up windows. Swarming. A vortex of black feathers and sharp beaks. The air fills with their deafening cries. It's pure, suffocating terror. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Just the overwhelming presence of death from above. The siege on the old, abandoned church. This was a major set piece. The survivors make a desperate stand, barricading themselves inside the crumbling stone walls. They think they're safe, but the ravens are relentless. They attack from every angle, smashing through stained glass windows, pouring down the chimney. It's a brutal extended battle, a terrifying blend of horror and action. Gunshots, screams, the sickening thud of birds against wood and stone. Hope dwindles with every wave of attack. It felt like a war zone filming it. Deep in the cursed Blackwood forest, the characters follow a lead from Dr. Section 5. The Ravens' shadow turning points in suspense. There's a distinct moment in the film, a chilling realization. The survivors, including Jake, finally understand. These are not just birds driven by instinct. The ravens are intelligent, highly intelligent. They strategize, they communicate, they set traps. This isn't a random animal attack, it's a calculated assault. This understanding shifts the dynamic entirely. Hope plummets. The enemy is far more formidable than they ever imagined. It's a crucial turning point. The fight becomes one of wits, not just brute force, and they are outmatched. suspense tightens its grip with a devastating betrayal. Someone within the group of survivors, someone they trusted implicitly, is revealed to be aiding the Ravens. Or perhaps they've been driven mad by the terror, twisted by the curse. This revelation sends shockwaves through the remaining characters. Paranoia sets in. If they can't trust one of their own, who can they trust? It's a brutal twist. It deepens the despair. It isolates each character further, making them more vulnerable to the horrors surrounding them. This was a gut punch. Just when all seems lost, a glimmer of hope appears. Doctor. Section 6. Echoes in the Dark, Impact on the Horror Genre. Bloodthirsty Ravens wasn't content to be just another creature feature. It aimed higher. It dared to blend genres. It was a horror film, undeniably. But it was also an action film, a psychological thriller, even a touch of dark folklore. This fusion created something unique, something that stood out. It pushed the boundaries of what audiences expected from a killer bird movie. It showed that such a premise could be genuinely terrifying and intelligent. It wasn't afraid to be brutal or bleak. The film's visual impact was significant, especially its use of effects. A combination of practical effects for the Ravens, animatronics, puppets, and then state-of-the-art CGI for the larger swarms. This blend was crucial. It made the threat feel real, tangible. You could almost feel the flap of their wings, the sharpness of their beaks. Audiences reacted strongly to this. The visceral nature of the attacks, the sheer overwhelming numbers of the birds. It wasn't just scary, it was believable within its dark fantasy. It definitely breathed new life into the nature-run-amok subgenre. Section 7, A Legacy Carved in Fear, My Performance and the Film's Enduring Chill. Playing Jake Riley in Bloodthirsty Ravens was a demanding experience. Physically it was grueling, the fight sequences, the running, the constant state of high alert. Emotionally it was draining, tapping into that level of fear, desperation, day after day. I tried to pour all of that into the performance. The fear had to feel authentic. The struggle for survival had to feel desperate. Jake was a broken man, fighting for one last chance, not just to live, but perhaps to find some kind of redemption, even in hell. The role of Jake needed a certain kind of grit, a weariness that comes from seeing too much. But beneath that, a spark of defiance, a refusal to just lay down and die. I worked hard to bring those layers to the character, to make him more than just an action hero, to make him relatable, flawed, human. His skills were a part of him, but so was his pain. His journey in the film was about confronting not just the Ravens,